What's up, everybody? Hope you guys had a good day of trading. If y'all traded before the day started, supply and demand zone side. On the supply side, we had a bunch of smaller time frame zones from this steep drop from a couple weeks ago. We have a 30-minute at 4,007 here. We got a 15-minute right above it, basically right in it at 4,014. So we can consider that really one zone. We got a 15-minute at 4,035, 45-minute at 4,052, 4,051, and then above that, we have a 1 hour at 4078. On the demand side, we've created some decent demand the past really all this week. We made that steep drop, this low at 3807 late on Friday. Ripped up from there, created demand in the process, and the past couple of days have created some decent demand. Even though we haven't had a steep, uptrend, kind of like what we saw today, we did create some demand that basically made a pretty good setup for an upside move going into today. But let's see, so we have a 3-hour demand zone at 3909, 1 hour zone at 3917. That's already been tested once. 2-hour zone at 3932, been tested once. 3961, a 90-minute demand zone that's been tested a couple times. And then while testing that demand zone, you created a 3-hour zone overnight at 3973. Just good to see, one, these demand zones being created. Two, to see them being held right when we enter it. Three, seeing new demand being created as we're touching this demand zone. Specifically what we did overnight. We touched this demand zone, and then we created new demand as we bounced out of it, indicating more new buyers are coming into the market, meaning we could have an upside move going into the day. I try not to have a bias, so I wasn't, I can't say I'm expecting an upside move, especially given, after every decent move to the upside has been met with heavy selling for the past couple months. Definitely don't want to have a bias, if any bias, especially not a long bias, because it's just been a downtrend overall this whole year. But technically speaking, we were looking pretty good setup wise. All right, overnight highs at 4,009 and overnight lows at 3,960. We have a key level here at 4,056 that's acted as pretty good support and resistance. I think this was created really, noted it over a year ago, but we had a good bounce here, resistance here, a little bit of resistance and support here, but not that strong, but still strong enough for me to note. So at the open, we open up at 39, a little bit under 39.90, and just kind of rip up from there. We get into this first 30-minute supply zone at 4,007 and overnight highs here, and didn't have much of a hesitation, just kind of ripped right through it. So obviously we're not shorting there, right? I wait for at least a lower high in a 5-minute chart, or at least a 5-minute chart, and we didn't get that, and that is why we do wait for more confirmation. We don't just short right away because of supply zones and demand, or supply zones like this. They just rip right through it. So no short there. Get into this next supply zone at 4,014. Same thing, no short here, not even a red candle on the 5-minute chart, no reason to short, wiped right through that. And same thing for this third supply zone. We have another one at 4,035, 15-minute supply zone, and just broke right through it. No red candles, no lower high, at least a 5-minute chart. And at this point, it's past 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, I asked myself, who's in control? Are buyers in control? Are sellers in control? Buyers are clearly in control. We've ripped close to 50 points, if not more. We've broken through 3 supply zones. And so I'm telling myself that we need to there's no shorts at all today unless we make a new supply zone on at least a 15-minute chart. Other than that, if you want to play the trend, just kind of buy any big dip, then you can do that. A couple things here. So when we make a new demand zone, which we did at 9 o'clock, we actually made, kind of just write that down there, note it. At 9 o'clock, we have a bunch of candles that closed. We created a 3-hour demand zone. 3-hour at 39.92. That's your first good sign for bulls, right? So we created demand zone on this rip. Second good sign is we're grinding up, we're holding value. volume is just kind of dying off. I wouldn't say we're really consolidating in a balanced area yet. It's still in an uptrend. It's just grinding up compared to how it was the first hour. We just ripped right up. But it's good that buyers or participants are accepting these prices. We're not getting any big heavy selling. So given that, if you just want to play the trend, you can probably do that. Any big dip you get, buy it, risk a previous low. Could have got a couple here, come back down here. Here's your decent dip, risk the low. Even though we're on a supply zone right here, and this technically fits our criteria of a lower high on at least a 5-minute time frame after rejecting off of the supply zone, right? But given like I said, the buyers already control, and we're not going to be shorting until we create at least supply zone on at least a 15-minute chart, then I'm not going to be shorting this. So I did not short this. If anything, I would have gone long. On the 1-minute chart, closer look. Here's your rejection right here. Fall back. Not a bad position to go long. Come back up, and we break the new high of the day, break a high day, and then we break through the supply zone. So I know the supply zone gone. So no short here because we didn't get a new supply zone on at least a 15-minute time frame, right? Break over this key level, use it as support, coming up, and reject off of really nothing. So the nearest supply zone here was 40.78, so we were close. But my guess is we probably rejected off of a 75 psych level, or 4,075. These 25 increments are really just good-looking numbers. Will become a psych level. 4,000 is obviously a big one. 4,025, 4,050, 4,075, 4,100. They can be psych levels. So I would guess that's kind of why we rejected off of this. In the process of that, we finally created a new supply zone on at least a 15-minute time frame. So let me draw that out. All right. At 4,066. And right before that, we actually created a 15-minute demand zone at basically 4,060. So a tight range here between 15-minute supply and demand zones. Go back to the 5-minute chart. All right, so we create this 15-minute supply zone. So hey, if you want to short here, have at it and risk the break of it. You could definitely do that. And take your profits at this new demand zone and go long from here if you want. Because we basically just balance between these two zones for about 2 hours, from noon to 2 o'clock Central Time. On the 1-minute chart, here's where that 15-minute supply zone was created, came back down to the 15-minute demand zone. Here's your first touch, second touch, a little 10-point scalp here to the supply zone, back down, and just kind of balance between these zones, right? Rejecting and bouncing off of both of them. Then at 2 o'clock Central Time, we finally break through this 15-minute demand zone, so that's gone. Little downtrend here. Broke this key level before quickly recovering it, and barely broke a high day and this supply zone. And this is about 10 minutes to the close. No, it's a little bit too volatile here, so no reason to really play this. But we rejected pretty hard from here, and that's where we ended for the rest of the day, around the 4,050 psychological level. So pretty good day today for bulls. Good uptrend for the first hour, created demand down here, and just kind of had a grind of an uptrend from there until noon, and just consolidated at this upwards 4,050 to 4,075 range, balancing between this demand zone that was here and the supply zone for the rest of the day, with a little break of both before the close. But a good day. So I hope you guys had some good trades off of any of these zones, and we'll see what happens overnight. We'll see what kind of zones we get tomorrow, and I'll see y'all then.